You have questions, we have answers. This is Jane Muller.
And this is Ken Muller. Welcome to our show, all about real estate with Ken and Jane. Today, Jane, the topic of the day is why open house? And we're going to cover what an open house consists of and the pros and cons of having open houses as a way to further market the residential homes and condos.
That's right.
So to start with, what's first of all, for the listeners out there, they may not everyone may know what an open house is. So why don't you say?
I think most people know what an open house is, Ken, but everybody have different understanding of the open house, right? Yeah. I think first of all, the open house is your real estate agent broker can set up a time to have an event, so anyone can feel free to come to visit. Most open house, I just say, is on the weekend. Used to be a long time ago when I was a brand new agent, right? There's only Sunday, 1 to 4. Later on, and like myself, add a Saturday because everybody have a different schedule. For example, I noticed some people take the kids to classes on the weekend, dancing, tennis, Chinese, whatever they do, and drop the kids have an hour or two to kill. So open house is great for them to stop by because, they have a growing family. Hopefully they're going to like the house. And I see a lot of benefit from that. So we start having Saturday open house, 1 to 4. And I see other agents may have from 12 to 3. And we tried other time, but sometimes most people, I feel, they used to, the 1 to 4. So, and recently, given the pandemic and very strong market, sometimes we even have open house on Friday, believe it or not. In the Friday, in the winter time, now summer, that's great. So we have normally 4 to 7. So people finish work and can stop by. And in winter time, sometimes we have, 3 to 6 because it's getting darker out there. And you would say, who would come on Friday? You know what? We have a lot of good results. Sometimes, there's a line out the door. Obviously, that was early, in the last couple of years, we had a big, strong push. But now, the market is more even out. So.
But actually, Jane, quite recently, back in April, you had hosted open houses on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I remember some of the ones you hosted for Friday afternoons from 4 to 7 had a very good turnout result.
Yes, we sold many homes. Actually, Friday, especially in my personal opinion, the larger homes, right? Because normally they have a more flexible time frame, right? And the Friday afternoon, there's a lot of homes we had. The offer, the buyers is from Friday afternoon because they want to see the house first. So there's anticipation. And some of them may want to avoid the weekend. They think weekend probably more people. So they try to come on Fridays. So that's
open house basically provides a venue for the public to come freely. They don't need to bring in an agent with them. They can bring their family, their extended family, and they can all see the house for whatever the date and time window for the open house. That's a benefit. Yeah. Certain times agents do come with their clients. Oftentimes we always encourage, even if the client has an agent, they're welcome to attend our open house, and we'll show them the house on behalf of the agent.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I think the common concerns can hear from the owner is like they said, well, I don't want the random people come to my house. First of all, very rare. I wouldn't say never, but because I don't know, I never really experienced some random people, but a lot of sellers said random people. I said, no, they're not random. They're interested in real estate, right? And other seller would say maybe they're nosy neighbors. Do you know the nosy neighbors have their friend group, their colleagues, their people from, their social circle. They may want to say, hey, come and see the house.
Right.
So there's a lot of definitely the benefit to that. And another concern from a lot of seller possibly is I don't want so many strangers in my house. We have no track on them. We always ask them to fill in the information, the email, the cell phone. Some owners said, how do I know to give you a true one? They're a stranger in my house. But we are not like open the door for anybody, everybody come have a party. At least with Mueller team, right, when we have open house, we normally have one family at a time. So that's even before the pandemic. Now it's even more because of the pandemic, right? So we have a one family at a time. Some houses, some homes we have is much larger. So they have we normally have a 2 agent. It can be 2 family at a time. So one do second floor, one do first and basement. So backyard, one vice versa, right? But we do not let the buyers walk
free,
around the house free. The reason is, first of all, obviously for the safety for the seller's belongings and the thing. Secondly, it's a part of service, right? And we are there to answer the buyer's concern, to help them to make one of the most important decision in your life, buying a home.
Also, as the agent, you're there to provide the visitors and the buyers that come in with information about the house, explain the features, what about the heating system, the age of the roof, whatever the benefits of the house. So you accompany them throughout the house, and as you're showing them the different rooms, I would think you're giving them all the details on.
Yeah, absolutely. And normally, how would we do it, especially Mueller team? We have a flyer prepared. So because now it's a pandemic, we try to avoid the paper, try to save the environment, obviously paper, also to avoid the person contact. So we have electronic. So when the people come in, we ask them sign in, and they give us the email or the phone number. We can either text them or email them the seller disclosure, the information of the home. So they have all the information at their fingertips when they walk out the door. And they have any question, they're more than welcome to contact us. And we are there once again to help them. And during these last 3 years, right, we see a lot of people come from out of state. So, out of state and North Jersey. So who can introduce the neighborhood, the community better than us, right? The seller's agent. So we can answer a lot of questions, not only about the home itself, and also about the school, about the community, and a question of how far to the bus station, and do they have, how's the swimming team, and the kids, they miss the the time for the school, but they already attend the kindergarten. Can they start first grade? And at least we gave them some information where they can start, to find out. Obviously, I'm not saying we know every answer, but at least we can help you to find the source, how can find the right answer for you. So in that case, to further helping the people to make an informative decision.
Right. And during this whole COVID over the last couple of years, a lot of the buyer pool for Central Jersey came from Staten Island, Brooklyn, upstate New York. And so open houses in Pennsylvania. So open houses are a great venue because sometimes if you're coming from out of state or you're traveling a distance, you don't know exactly what time you're going to arrive. And oftentimes if you make a specific appointment, the allowable window might only be a half hour, whereas with an open house, typically they're they're at least 3 hours at length. So you can plan. There's an open house. So if you're traveling from a long distance, you can plan to, as long as you get there within that 3 hour window, you don't feel rushed to have to arrive at a certain time and leave at a certain time. And it gives you and typically they're held on weekends, so it gives the buyers a good way to look around and check out the whole area. And it's usually daylight, so they can ask the list agent like yourself a lot of questions about the schools, the neighborhood, the playgrounds, how many kids are in the neighborhood they can observe for themselves.
Yeah, they can see, they can talk to neighbors. A lot of time, right, when you come on the weekend, right, you can see how the people live there. You have opportunity to check with neighbors. How do you feel? How do you like it? It's like a lot of benefit. And some buyers typically like to do their own research, especially at the beginning, and they like to see certain price range in the area. So instead of saying, and the house goes so fast these days, so they just want to see as soon as it become available. So that's really a tool to help both seller and the buyer to introduce the new listings, the homes.
Right. Yeah, and open houses go back to the old days of the traditional realtors.
Before the 3 years craziness.
With all the advances in technology and social media, at the end of the day, Jane, real estate is still a people business, right? And open houses provide the perfect venue for people to get together and physically tour the house
and to see the house.
And see the house. You can't substitute something. There's nothing like seeing something live. You can have all the great videos and the walkthroughs and the guided tours, but people they want to still feel it and observe it and live it and be present in it. They don't.
I totally agree with you, Ken. Buying a home is very different. It's not a house. It's not the structure. It is a life. It's a dream. You realize your dream. That's just, emotion play a big part. The same home. Well, some people walk in could feel great. Other person could feel flat, right? So looking on the internet, that's great. The photos, right? You really have to come experience first. Firsthand in the person.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No matter how good the photos are, there's nothing like seeing it live. And a lot of times people say, "Oh, I didn't realize this. It was like this." Because the photos can't tell the whole picture. They can show.
Yes.
They can always tell part of the picture, but it's not the whole.
Yeah. Sometimes, right, Ken, and some photo is too good. So when you go there, said, did I show up the right house here? It's totally, because the photo, just like people wear makeup, right? Yeah, that's really, really, may look different. I always joke. I said when I go to a local ShopRite, I probably look better than some famous actress without makeup, right? Because I don't wear makeup, so that's why I look natural. But if someone, the photo could be the same thing. Another thing is when you look at the photo, right? They may not show the space. You have to really go there to feel it. Yes.
Absolutely. All right. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these messages. Okay, welcome back, Jane. So we're talking about open houses and how that traditional tool is still a very beneficial marketing tool that can benefit sellers because basically with the open houses, you're giving a greater buyer pool an opportunity to see your home. And the more opportunities you have for the public to see it, the more likely you'll have multiple competitive offers.
Yes, and the terms as well. I think also that's help the seller with the time, right? Instead of having individual showing 1 to 3 o'clock, once 4:30, once 6:30, break your dinner, you have 2-3 days open house. So most people can come the same time to see. But once again, open house is a summary, it's an overview. If you really want to see the house in details, please make a schedule private showing, because open house, you still a lot of people waiting. You can feel the pressure. You have to wait first of all outside, especially now in summer, it's so hot. So, or if you're in there, you can see people waiting, so you feel anxious, right?
Wait a minute, during the open house, you don't provide your team doesn't provide drinks and lemonade or something, at least to give to the maybe you should have the kid you should have a kid on the side
to sell lemonade stand, right?
Sell lemonade, at least in the summer months especially. That would be if you're a smart kid out there listening and you want to find out where to make some extra money this summer, just find out where the open houses are, set up your lemonade stand, and then you'll get as the line forms, you're going to get, especially in these summer months, right in the heat of summer, you'll get you'll make a good buck doing it, right?
That's right, Ken. That's really cool.
Yeah,
but the problem is about agent providing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we really, sometimes, it's a good question.
No, but actually, in all seriousness, about providing drinks and food,
we don't.
We don't provide anything for the house because of even candy or anything, because for liability reasons, you don't know what people with allergies have, and also to protect the house, you don't want to provide drinks. You don't want people drinking any liquids in the house or
for the safety,
for the safety and for the protection of the home
public,
as well.
Because as you said, right? We don't know the people, they have an allergy, anything, right. Especially children, they say something they want to have it. So that's truly liability. I did have the owner asking, can they leave some, sweets or some, drink water and the dessert? I said, no, absolutely not, because we don't know, if the people, that's going to be potential liability. And also, let them focus on the house.
Right, that's true. Lemonade is, they can get the lemonade when they're done with the tour of the house.
That's right. And the kids that down the block is selling them.
Right. But let's talk about another beneficial aspect to the owners of doing an open house. That's the excitement, the wow factor. I mean, typically, I think it's psychologically, if people are lined up to see the house, they're thinking, wow, there's all these other, they can see other people are interested in viewing the same home that they're looking at.
Yes.
It might give
create
them
a competition.
Create competition, which creates a sense of more urgency and can likely generate the bid coming in.
The energy.
And they can feel the energy, the wow. If everybody wants it,
I want it.
I want it. If nobody wants it, I don't want it.
That's right. Just like children, right? You give them toy, right? One toy, everybody fight for it. You give everybody have one. Nobody want it.
Exactly. If they see everybody fighting for it, then they're going to jump in and
That's right.
bid. And they think, wow, if there's all this line for this, there must be some good factors.
That's right.
So that's a good thing. That can be a very beneficial thing for the owners if the line forms. And during the COVID time, the last 2 years, we saw tremendous lines.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate that people had to wait so long to get in, but due to safety and due to protocol, we could only allow, like you said,
one or
a maximum 2 families. Yeah. And we should say, even now with the open houses, out of respect for the owners, at least for our team, our policy is always to require all the visitors to wear the masks.
Regardless the government requirement, and the seller, protect the seller, because you have a large number of people in and out the house in the 3 hours period, and also protect yourself, right, as a visitor, because you come in, you don't know who come before you, you don't know who come after you, so just protect yourself and also respect of the owner. So we request all the visitors wear mask. We always provide the booties as well. So, shoe covers. So in that way, it is good for both visitors as well as the owner for the actual protection.
Yeah. Now, it's very interesting, Jane, because open houses have typically always been for residential sales of homes. But given that your personality profile tested your force of nature, I want you to share with the listeners when you first started in the business what type of an open house you did, and everybody looked at you like you were from Mars.
Yes, that's right. When I was brand new agent, I really don't have much business to start with, and I used to get the lead nobody want, the rental lead. I would drive all around and try to help them. And one day there was someone, give me a shot. They were burned. They were not happy with the agent, so they tried a newbie like myself, give me a rental property, and there was nobody come to rent. So that was 2009, 2010. So what I did, I went to the manager. I said, I want to have an open house for rent. Everybody looked at me shocked, say, Jane, we never had open house for rent, never ever in the entire history. Plus, it could be seen as a false advertising. Open house for rent as a false advertising. So the manager have to help me and told me to do a special sign for rent or open house. I have to have a special sign, big for rent, so the people know. So I was standing there, put all the sign up around the town and waiting. There's nobody came. Seriously, 1 to 4. Mm-hmm. At 4 o'clock, I stood there really in tears. I was so defeated. I was just so defeated with the sign in my hand. I was trying to take down the sign. A guy, his name is Peter. I still remember his name. He pulled up. He said, "Hey, you! Are you doing the open house for rent? Really?" I said, yeah. And at that moment, I perked up. I said, yes. And the smile come back to my face. I suddenly become alive again. I said, please come for rent. He said, really? I passed it earlier with my sister-in-law to go shopping. I said, I passed. I didn't think. I said, hang on. Is that an agent there for rent, for open house? Her sister said, no, can't be. Never heard. When they came back, they slowed down the car to pay attention, just saw me to take down the sign, said it is for rent. But long story short, that started my career. and he rented. The landlord was very happy. After that, I represent a lot of landlord after that. That's my early beginnings. Yes.
Right. And you were, as far as I know, you were one of the first agents that actually hosted an open house for rent, at least in the Central Jersey area, from what I've seen. Right.
Yes.
But I think your path. I think you blazed the trail, because I know now that there are I do see agents.
Not the last 2-3 years, Ken, because now
because they never need it, because
you can't have enough house for rent. People lined up for it.
Right. You don't need to do that. Right.
But before, definitely we did a rent. Even recent year before the pandemic, we had an open house for rent, and Saturday from 12 to from 11 to 12 or short. It's not like as long as 1 to 4 like a regular, because we feel sometimes the rental property have a tenant. If we have a quick an hour, half an hour, 2 hours window, we can attract a lot of potential tenant stop by. The young people, they're very good online. They say open house, they just come and go. So in that case, will be less burden on the tenant, instead of one by one. So we just have everybody together, and in an hour, 2 hours period to secure the new tenant.
Mm-hmm, right.
I'm glad you brought good memories. I forgot about that.
You remember that very well now. You never forget that first experience that was start of your career, right?
That's right.
And another good thing that you said was, at open houses, there's no rule that it has to be only on Sundays from 1 to 4. It can be on Saturdays. I know the Mueller team has even done open houses on a Wednesday night or on a Tuesday night or even on a Thursday night. So it's really up to you and the owner to decide what times work best for them.
The reason we did that was because sometimes we have a home, the seller or the occupants may have a pet, or they may have a baby. So they have very, very hard to managing the showing. So we work with them. We try to make sure, to schedule convenient for the occupant, either seller or the tenant, as well as the potential buyers or tenants. So in that way, it's a win-win situation. And often I hear people say, some agent push back, said, well, I don't want to do open house because I have enough business. I don't want the business. Most people have open house just to get new business. And in my experience, in contrary, I know a lot of time we host open house, the people come, they have agent, like you work for free. It's not work for free. You work for the owner.
Well, you're working to promote your main job at the open house is to promote the sale of the house that you're hosting the open house for. You represent the owner, right?
Yes. And also, just like from, a lot of time I feel the reason we has been successful is we just do the right thing, and the people take notice, right? I still have people call me and said, Jane, remember Fort Wellington, the owner, they met me about 12, 13 years, saw me an open house, and they keep my card. They really like how I do business.
I was just
and later on, they hire me. There's many of them hire me as a listing agent.
Right, because basically in the open house, you never know. It's like you said, you're exposing yourself to the public, and other people are judging you, your knowledge, your rapport. So you never know. If they're impressed with you as an agent, when they come to sell their house or they need to buy a house, they might, they'll grab your card and they'll hire you. So that's a very good point. You always want to put your best foot forward.
Yeah, do your best. Yes, that's all. Be yourself. Do your best.
Yeah.
That's all. A lot of time, right? Other questions I have, from the audience was saying, now we are heading from the totally seller market to more mutual, and also possibly in the near future, in a few years, just a business cycle, right?
Right.
We'll slowly go into the buyer market, and then back to neutral, back to seller market again every 10, 15 years. So especially in the slower market, like a buyer market, open house is equally, if not more important to promote your home. Why is that? Because if in the in a slower market in like 2011, 2012, you have recession, you have so many homes on the market, you have less buyer, much more unsure seller to sell, right? Once your house put on the market, after a few weeks, right, your house ranking is sinking from the public. So the best way to bring them to bring the attention from the buyer or remind them about your home is two-way. One's a price reduction, which we take it very seriously. The price you asking price should be very, very accurate as possible. And the second way to increase the attention from the public is have an open house.
Right.
The past data show a lot during the open house, the spikes.
Yeah. And we have about a minute or less. Is there ever a bad weekend to have an open house? You can probably tell many stories where the owners or the even agents said, "Oh, I don't want to have an open house on the holiday weekend, on Labor Day, which is coming up in September." But the bottom line, from what we've learned, is that the day that you think nobody's going to come,
Super Bowl.
It's a Super Bowl.
I did the Super Bowl weekend open house because I didn't know there was Super Bowl.
And you get great success. So there's never a bad weekend because you never know who's looking. And I think open houses just provide that added and necessary venue for more people to see the house and decide if they want to put an offer in.
Come to our open house this afternoon, 1 to 4.
Yeah, all right. That's well said, Jane. So we're out of time. We'll see everyone next week. Thanks.
Thank you.